All right, guys. So I just left the movie theaters. Go Harkins! But I just watched him, and I want to talk a little bit about the movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really great film. So I'm gonna talk about it for a little bit. Some of the things that I really enjoyed about it. Not gonna lie, it did have me in a chokehold, and watching it in the movie theater only intensifies it even more. So it's like I felt like I was in the movie, like, and then I have all these like different emotions like watching it and everything. But I will say, if you paying attention with your third eye, um, yeah, it was one of those movies where, whew, man, it will really take you out. But something that I guess I want to bring up is like having like morals. Um, just because you see evil shit, don't mean you gotta be. You have to really succumb to that. Like the movie was literally about duality of good and evil. Like you think you want something so bad in your life, and it's really not what you need, because if you have to sacrifice people to get to where you need to be, that's probably not a good. Nathaniel, can you get out the way? Oh my god, that's probably not a good idea. So yeah. Also, I want to say what I did also like about the movie. Like, if you guys watch it, I'm not gonna spoil it too much, but the ending was awesome. Like, whoa, it was really gory, but for the greater good. That was really awesome. Not to mention, like, Marlon Wayans did awesome in this movie. Like, oh my gosh, I loved his like his character in this movie, and like he was extremely intense. This is like the first time I really seen him like this intense. But yo, like I would love to watch anything else that he's in. And then we have to like Tyreek was awesome too. It was just like my first time even seeing him in anything. Maybe did he model or something? I feel like I've seen him like model, and if he didn't, he probably should get on it. But I was just like, wow, like his character was awesome. Like the way that they got him, like let's be real, his face, he looks like a sweetheart. But in this movie, he he killed his role in this movie, especially towards the end and stuff. Again, like him having his own morals. And one thing I would say about the movie, like that was like really tough is, even in the beginning, they just kept mentioning his father, like in the movie, like he really wanted him to play football, and like the whole theme of sacrifice, like throughout the whole movie, that was like a big theme in the movie. And it come to the point where even towards the end, it was kind of revealed that his own father literally sacrificed himself just so that his son could become a football player. And I'm not gonna spoil the ending because like the ending literally like makes the whole movie so awesome, and like makes the whole movie make sense, because at the end of the day, you are given a choice in life, and it does not mean you have to take the bad choice. And also, I want to mention that it did obviously have a lot of like mentions of biblical things in the movie. Like I know I sound kind of silly saying that, but like it is a lot of like biblical symbolism, a lot of occultic symbolism. And I want to talk about the biblical stuff because we're Christian. I'm the good ones. But I'd like to say that the whole blood stuff, giving each other blood, like it kind of reminded me of the Nephilim that's in the Bible, where these were like pretty much like giants, or they were like angels who interbred with humans and everything, and they made these like massive giants. So there's a lot of theories that goes around that basically like these are like hybrid humans where they have all this strength and they're all mighty and this and that. So like when they were kind of like passing along like the blood and stuff like throughout the movies to give to the athletes, that's what I kept thinking about, because I'm like, they're basically, the movie just kept saying something about like being strong, and oh, I'm him, and you're just so strong and things like that because of the people that, well, the beings that came before you passed down their blood. Literally, it's like a bloodline. And like that was the whole thing. Like even when you think about like the bloodline, like biblically, like there's clearly a chosen people, right, or a chosen one, and the movie brought that up quite a few times. Who's the chosen one? And in this aspect, Marlon's character, he plays for the saviors or whatever. That whole thing is extremely occultic, but he plays for the saviors, and like he kept saying, "Oh, he's the chosen one. He's the chosen one because he has his blood infused into him. It made him a superhuman." He kept saying, I'm him. He's God. This and that, and people like worshipped him as if he was God. So it's like those aspects in the movie was like really, it was really interesting, but. A lot of times you see these celebrities, they'll say things like, "Oh, I'm him, blah, blah, blah." And I'm just like, are you though, But yeah, I know somebody who says that all the time too. It's like, you good, So, yeah, anywho, I really enjoyed the movie. I think I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. If you watch it in the movie theaters, and if you're somebody like me, I don't know if this is like a neurodivergent thing, but like when I watch stuff, I feel it so intensely that like it makes me almost like sick. So when I was watching the movie, I was like nauseous the whole time. So I don't know why, but yeah, that's my spill about it. I really enjoyed the movie. Jordan Peele helped produce the movie. It was really great. If you really kind of like the psychological thrillers, definitely give this movie a try. Like, I don't think that it was scary. I think that some parts were a bit intense, but I wouldn't say it was a scary movie, like, per se. Like, I would just say that it was just really intense situations. And if you're somebody who would, like I know, like, in 2012, conspiracy theories about this certain type of movie was, like, hyped back then. And they were basically saying that people who play sports and, like, who are in entertainment, they may be allegedly doing certain things that were in this movie. But I would just say, honestly, though, like, when we're thinking about it in a spiritual way, or like a hypothetical way, or like theoretical way, like whatever you want to think about it, like, you have a choice whether you want to do good or bad. And sometimes you can't even pick that, because sometimes you got to take action and be like, look, I'm not standing for this, regardless of whatever you feel like you're going to do. And I feel like, and I don't want to keep bringing up like the last part of the movie, because I feel like I'm going to say it, but like, it was so good. Like, oh my God, I was so pumped to see that. Like, oh my God, because I thought the movie was going to end a whole another type of way. And like, obviously, him is like representing like Jesus, right? But God, they thinking that they're their own gods and stuff like that. But when Tyreek, he kind of had his whole moment of like, oh, I'm him. It was because he chose the greater good in the whole situation. So like, the movie kind of highlighted like, look, be better than me. Like, Marlon's character was like, be better than me, be greater than me, and this and that. And like, technically, that's what Tyreek did. Like, he chose a better option. He chose a better option. So, anywho, I like the movie. I know other people probably didn't really care for it, but I personally did. And to be honest, it might be a reason why certain people didn't want to watch it, or certain people have said that it wasn't good, although they haven't watched it. But I'm going to give the movie a 10 out of 10. And that's coming from somebody who really do not be watching nothing. So, yeah, I liked it a lot. It's just, I would say, brace yourself if you're like an extremely emotional person like I am, because it's almost like you're there. It's like you can feel everything. The movie is extremely intense, just like Sinners. Sinners was really intense for me too. Like, it was like I was there, but I wasn't. So, like, keep that in mind. But, all will be good. Anyways, 10 out of 10 would highly recommend. Goodbye. Oh, also, this channel is called Amani Reads and Reviews. So, originally with my channel, it used to be like I review movies and books and TV shows. But I kind of like stopped doing that because I'm in a master's program and I'm like really busy now, and I'm a wife and a mom. So I'm like really busy, but I want to kind of like get back to like doing things that I like to do because it kind of helps with my mental health. I'm not gonna lie, this entire movie made me forget about half of the crap that I had worried about before I came into this damn movie. So it's good to take care of yourself. So I would also say, if you're anybody who feels like you're stressed, go watch a movie, go read a book, go eat some popcorn. I didn't like the popcorn tonight. It was really stale, so I didn't really eat any of it at all. Okay, bye. Also, I want to mention one of the things that I liked about the movie was some of the quotes. I'm just going to like paraphrase some of them, but one of them was about not having the job that you have or your career literally like kill you. Like, don't do that. And that's something that I can personally relate to at this point in time because, like, you don't want something to affect your mental health so bad. You don't want something to affect your mental clarity so bad to the point where you're giving your all into a career or a field or into a purpose that you really don't need to do. Like, I'm gonna like bring it back to like having that whole put God first for real. Because even in the movie, it just kept saying, "Oh, I put football first. I put my family second. I put God last." And it was like, first of all, that need to be hella up backwards, But that's something I really resonated with because, like, for me, one of the things is like when I get so into something, like it takes up my whole time, and that's why for like the past 4 years, like me being a parent, like that literally like that takes up my entire time. That's my entire identity, and you don't want to be wrapped up into certain things to the point where it's like you forget who you are. You're like you don't have any like mental awareness of whatever else is going on around you. So like when Marlon said that, like that was so real because like how many people like they literally don't even eat. They don't even eat. They sleep, eat, poop their job, and it's like you're still human. So like I resonated with that so well so much in this movie. Yeah, like again, I feel like it's just like a duality thing with this movie. Just because your family is telling you, hey, it's like when your family is like, oh yeah, you need to be a doctor, but you want to be an artist. You need to pick you first. And it's like football, like, Tyreek, and I forgot their names. That's how crazy, like I just watched this and I forgot their like characters' names. So I refer to them as Marlon and Tyreek. But yeah, the symbolism with the whole whiteness is like something else I want to talk about because, child, whew, yeah, you really big into conspiracy theories and like, let's just say left and right and checkerboards and the whole thing with the blood and stuff, like all of that is like, man, that stuff is crazy as heck. But I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, just like don't have something take over your life so bad because you want all of this stuff. Like the movie kept saying things about you want accolades, you want you think that this is a game. They're like, football's not a game, and like all the occultic stuff, they're not playing around. That was not a game to them. Like that was their life. Like they sacrificed people, they sacrificed time, they sacrificed anything they could just to like keep that stuff going. And it's like, what I did also like about it is the fact that they brought up like the Native American side of football, because like when the young people, like Native Americans, they were in the concentration camps, they were saying how like they turned the sport that a part of their culture, they turned it into something extremely evil. And they were talking about the pale faces, they were talking about the people who came and made football something completely evil. And like obviously it's not like they mentioned it in the movie, but like I just thought it was just really interesting that they even mentioned like a lot of like Native American like a lot of like Native American culture and like what they've been through. And then even like when they said that these people were powerhouses with this sport, an original sport, like they had lacrosse, but like the original sport that they had, and then they were made the mascots. And like something else with the whole mascot thing, Tyreek ended up being a mascot in the end, but he really got his power back towards the end, like I'm telling you. And like Marlon's character was like, why would you want to be a mascot? So he was kind of one of those like, look, I don't care about the glitz and glamour. Yeah, that's important, but at the end of the day, you want to be him. You want to have your own power and stuff. So it was like definitely a duality, a good and bad. It was a really great film. I really enjoyed it a lot. Because I like to like look a little bit deeper when I like watch anything. So when you have like all the symbolism in movies, people who write and produce and like make these films and who are artists, it's such a beautiful thing, because like the stuff that people can make, like wow, like man, if I can just sit down and write something, I have like 15 things that I've started over the years I have not finished. Thank you, ADHD. But I will say, like, whoa, like these people are so talented. Like what they do, like entertainment in general, they are so talented. Even like sports, these people are talented. They spend their whole lives doing what they want to do in a sense of no, because they do what their passion is. They're like passionate about something, and it shows. And like besides the whole conspiracy stuff, besides the symbolism and stuff, they did an amazing job. Like this is the second movie of this year that was like super awesome. Like I really enjoyed. So yeah, like it was intense, but yeah, I love the artistry in the movie. I like the theme in the movie, the symbolism, the art in general, like the home in general. Also, Marlon's house reminded me of Noah's Ark, like literally, and that was kind of where like the giants or whatever, they never left. Like if you like get into your Bible and stuff, they never left. Like those like fallen angels and stuff, they were already here. They taught humans how to do all types of corrupt stuff. And like what I found that was interesting about the movie, honestly, everything for good they tried to turn evil. Even football itself, something that was supposed to be about connecting, and something was supposed to be about brotherhood and like connecting with like your culture, your people, this and that, they turned it for good. I mean, for bad. Even when they were saying something about the vision, and like I've been seeing this word like all everywhere, vision, vision, vision. I've been seeing this all over everywhere, and I don't know what that means for me, because sometimes like God would tell me what it means, and then I would like forget about it anyway. But something that they mentioned in the movie was about like also Native American culture, where they do take their young boys out to like wilderness so that they can kind of come back as a king. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But it was just really intense. It's like a really intense movie, and honestly, if Tyreek went that route, he would have been as greater or like more great than Marlon would have been. But he did not choose that route, which awesome. That's really awesome. I love when like the weaker person becomes the victor, because that's literally God. Like God was like that when he and then he rose up again. So it was a lot of symbolism. The occultic stuff I didn't really care too much about, because I just feel like it was just like so like evil, and it's like you can really tell which people, let's just keep it as an economic thing. Like you can tell which people care too much about money. But even Marlon's character, it was like, yeah, that stuff was fine, but he really cared about like football. Like football became him, like, and then when he says I'm him, and then the football is, him or a part of him, he really meant that. Like he was like, yeah, he didn't have no feelings. He didn't have anything. And sometimes you look at these football players, it looks like they don't have no feelings. And it's just like, I know it's a really rough sport, but like man, it's really taking them out. Even like the people who are in the army and things like that. Like, it's a lot that these people have to go through just to work, or just to, like, yeah, just to work. Football is work. Being in the army is work. Whatever you do in your profession, when it's like taking so much out of you, like, that's a lot of work. It don't matter how much you love it and enjoy it. The moral that, or what I'm trying to push here, is like, definitely making sure your mental health is where it needs to be. You don't have to like choose something, choose something that's gonna like mentally affect you in your everyday life. And that's something that I'm taking to heart, because like right now, like, and even like the people in my life that I just met who are telling me like, hey, you still have a family. This is your job, but you need to choose your family. You need to choose the stuff that really matters in your life. Like, do not let this job or your career and none of that take away from who you are as a person. Do not let that take you away from God either. So, goodbye. Okay, so this is my last thing I'm gonna mention, but Tyreek, his character was like hit, and he kept saying that he was seeing things all the time, but like all of about the occultic thing. And like, I'm gonna say one thing about the end, but they were saying that since this boy was a baby, like since he was born, they were trying to make him a football star. So like all of the different like beings that you saw, like all these like like little, I'll call them demons, honestly. Even Beelzebub like was in it. Like, if you know about some of like the demons that are in the Bible, like I seen Beelzebub, like with flies and stuff. It's like, it represents greed or whatever. But like, I kept noticing some of the beings in the story are definitely like biblically like resonating or whatever, because if you really get into that, like, that's literally what it was about. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if they did this. I feel like they did this all on purpose, even his injury, because when he went to the doctor was like, look, if I were you, I would never play football again. This can seriously hurt you. He had a concussion. He had a brain, something happened with his brain, and like his doctor was like, please do not play this sport. But I feel like the occult wanted him to, be a part of their world, because they trained him since he was a child. They literally paid for all of his sports and stuff. And in my personal life, I when I'm talking to some adults that I know in my program, they played sports, and like sports, especially for children, it's expensive. It's one of those things where like people are spending, like somebody said they had to take out a other mortgage just so that they can pay for like football camps and softball camps for girls and like all this crazy stuff. So like, if you're an inner city kid who got like talent, and your parents don't got it, you don't know what's going on, how your parents are trying to help you pay for that. And it's like, it's so much greed and everything. And it's like, because like people who are in a cult, or they're occultic, like, they are clearly, their God is something that is not my God, or is not like the God of the Bible. It's something that is much, twisted, is much more twisted. And they literally, like, their God could be Beelzebub, and that's who they worship. And that's why you see all the flies everywhere, because it represents greed. You eating too much, you want too much, money, right? So it was like one of those things. And I just kept thinking about, like, damn, like, this guy mentally was not okay. And he mentioned in the movie, like, yeah, like, he was telling his brother, yeah, I'm seeing all this crazy stuff, like, I'm seeing stuff all around me, I don't know what's real, I don't know what's fake. That's crazy. Like, he had that brain, like, that, like, he got knocked out, because when he went to the doctor, he was like, yeah, something knocked me out, like something hit me. And it was like, if you are like, if his dad sacrificed himself, he clearly was trying to do that for his son too, like trying to put his son in a position. No telling what demons was brought on his son, just so that he can prepare him for a life of like what his father thought was successful, being a football player. And it's like, he didn't even know what came with that. And it's like, when we really think about that, like, you just never know what comes with something. It's like, I'm gonna be real, like, all this stuff is like more exaggerated in the movie. Like we don't know. This is allegedly. People feel like this happens in real life, and obviously there are cults. There are people who do like really odd stuff, but I'm gonna say this one thing. It was something like in my personal life where I felt like I really wanted in my life, and maybe it may come later on in my life. But when you think about something that God is closing a door for you because it may be your protection, and you keep trying to go after it, you don't know what comes with that. Because at the end of the day, you chasing greed, you're gonna see signs of greed. You're gonna see signs where it's like, honey, you're not supposed to be there. Like for me, what I was chasing, and then like what I'm in now, and I hear God around me all the time with what I'm doing now, because people, when I'm like having the lowest of days, somebody was like, oh, what you're doing is like, what a calling, and like, stuff like that. When people tell you things like that and you're not really sure about what you're doing right now, just take heed that like God is really placing certain people in your life for a reason, to remind you like, hey, you're on the right track. But when you divvy away from that, it's gonna be signs that you're not supposed to be there. And like even in this movie, like this man literally, his first sign was the doctor like, don't do football. The second sign for me personally was that damn fly in his head. That's Beelzebub. Like, hello, that's a demon. Get out. Don't do it. But then, like the last thing, like, I'm glad he had, he left for himself, because it was so many signs. Even like the first time when he went to the camp, the Noah's Ark house that Marlon had, and he saw the guy literally like almost like gone, because he worshipped Marlon like he was a god, so he would have like literally took his own life if Marlon told him to. Those are signs that maybe he should not have done this, and I'm glad that at the end he chose for good, because when you compare this in your real life and stuff, you really have to be careful about what you feel like you want to do, and God is telling you, hey, look, no. Like even rejecting when people don't like you, or people like acting funny towards you. And this is something that I'm still working with personally for myself, because I always notice people treating me a certain way and I never say nothing about it, but I notice it. But I'll say like sometimes like when people reject you, or like when something's not for you, that is your biggest protection. Because there's this like saying that people say like, oh, you don't get invited to parties because you don't do coke. That's gonna forever be funny to me, because at the end of the day, like that's so real. Like you literally don't have to be like other people. Like if you're not invited to certain things, or certain things don't happen, it's because it's not meant for you. And just because you feel like, oh, this career is gonna be good for me, I'm gonna make so much money, I'm gonna have so much fame, people are gonna like me, you don't need all of that. You can live a humble life. And a humble life don't always have to mean like, oh, you don't have money, because like that's not what I mean by that at all. Like your passions are gonna fuel your income, right? Like what you're passionate about, as long as it's in a good way, it's going to always be financially and spiritually freeing for you. So, anywho, those are like what I like, all of the topics, all the things, all the symbolism, all of what I've said. That's what I got from the movie today. And I'm definitely going to be watching more movies, and like talking about them. But like why I really like this movie is like psychologically, it's a psychological thriller, and I really like stuff like that because it makes you think. Not everything is just scary, and I'm glad that it wasn't like too scary, although it was intense. I'm okay. Like I got what I got from the movie, and I'm straight. I can leave now. Now, I did see the previews and stuff, and I will not be watching some of the movies on there because I don't have time for that. No. Okay, bye.